Hi everyone! Today I'm sharing a process video in my Life Crafted album using some of the digitals and ephemera from Citrus Twist Kit's September release. And I'm documenting a lovely walk that we had, just going out to enjoy the changing colors of the season. So here I have printed out a few photos. I have a large one that's approximately 3.5 inches wide by 6.25 inches tall, and I've sized that one specifically to fit on one of these oversized manila tags from the Citrus Twist Kits shop. Those measure approximately 4 by 8 inches. And I also have a photo strip of 3 photos about 3.5 inches wide by 2 inches tall, and that's going to go on the back of that tag there. And I've also printed out 3 smaller photos. These are approximately 1.75 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And these are going to go in kind of like a collage on the left side of my spread. For the right side of my spread, I've cut out this cut file from the Home at Fall digital cut file set from the Citrus Twist Kits shop, and my idea is to back the cut file with these digital pattern papers that I had printed out from the new Coming Home 6x8 Ledger Basics and Patterns digital papers, and make this into a tall pocket to store that manila tag. So you'll notice that I've printed out one piece of pattern paper at about 5 by 8 inches. This one has a whole bunch of text on it that looks like it's from Winnie the Pooh. And I've printed out some of the other pattern papers as well, so that they're approximately 2 inches wide, because that's really all I need for backing the leaves and the acorn on my cut file. But instead of printing these papers out at the normal 6x8 size like they were originally intended for, and then cutting off a square to use to back my cut file, I've actually resized the whole PNG file to about 2 inches wide before I printed it. And that way I can still keep all of the little details that were included in those papers, even though I'm using only a small piece of it. And I can also save some ink and some paper as well. To back this cut file, I'm using my Zig two-way glue pen. This is my favorite glue for backing delicate cut files because it has such a fine tip, so it's really perfect for getting all those fine details there. And if you've never used this glue pen before, it comes out blue and it dries clear, but it does leave a bit of a sticky residue as it dries, so make sure you blot off any excess if it seeps out from underneath the cut file. And you'll see that I'm kind of doing that here with my fingers after I adhere down each cut file. And I like to use my scissors to trim off the excess of the pattern papers before the glue dries permanently, so that I can kind of get my scissors underneath the lines of the cut file and make sure that there's no pattern paper peeking out from underneath the edges of the cut file. You'll see that I've chosen some orange, coral, and yellowish pattern papers to back the leaves. These are going to go perfectly with the ephemera pieces that I'm going to be using on the other page of the spread. And the patterned paper that I'm using to back this acorn is the wood grain paper that came in that digital kit. So this whole process does take a bit of time, but I love the look that it gives in the end. I was debating about what to do with these berries in that cut file. The pattern papers didn't really have any bold reds because they're meant to be used more as bases for your spreads. So I ended up pulling out this gold foiled cardstock that I got from Michael's, and I love how this turned out. It just added the right amount of shine to my page. I did have to be careful with the glue a bit more though. I found that any sticky residue tends to show up a bit more on shiny surfaces like these foiled cardstocks or on photos, so I had to be really careful to try and make sure that I didn't get any glue seeping out from underneath the cut file. Once that's done, I'm just backing the cut file onto this text pattern paper, and because I'm going to be making this into a pocket, I ended up cutting off the tops of the cut file, making sure that I followed the angles created by the cut file lines to make it appear as seamless as possible. And I'm only going to be backing the bottom part of this cut file. So I'm just using some 1/8 inch score tape and 3/8 inch score tape to attach the bottom 3 edges of this cut file onto that pattern paper, and I'm using my Zig two-way glue pen to attach those leafy parts of the cut file onto this pattern paper. I decided that I wanted to have some Kraft cardstock as the base of this pocket page, so I'm just pulling out the two types of Kraft cardstock that I have. The lighter one is from Nina, and that's in the color Desert Storm, and the darker one is just the 65-pound Kraft cardstock from Michaels. And while I really love the color of the Nina cardstock, I ended up going with the Kraft cardstock from Michaels, just because it provided a bit more contrast with that manila tag that I'm going to be placing into this pocket. So here I'm just cutting out some white cardstock into 1-inch wide strips to close up the sides of my pockets. I initially cut a piece for that left side of this cut file, but I realized that the side is just going to be closed by being in the binder rings of my Life Crafted album, so I'm just going to use that piece to close up the bottom of my pocket instead. So I'm just scoring each of these strips at the 1/2 inch mark and applying my 3/8 inch score tape to both sides of that score mark. And that's going to go on, one of the strips is going to go on the bottom edge and the other strip is going to go on the right edge of my cut file, and that will create a closed pocket. I did trim the white cardstock at a diagonal in that bottom right corner. If I don't do that, then the strips will overlap with each other in that bottom corner and create a bit of extra bulk on the page. Just removing the tape backing to adhere my pocket down to the page. I did have to put my head in the camera frame for a bit to make sure that everything was all nice and lined up properly. Just taking my page off camera so that I can punch some holes in the left side of that page. And here I'm moving on to the left page of my spread. So I'm going to make a collage with these 3 smaller photos, and my idea is to use up all of these leaf ephemera pieces from the Feels Like Home ephemera pack from Citrus Twist. And I wanted them to kind of cascade down this page and spill over onto the bottom of my pocket page on the right side. So it did take me a while to figure out the best way to arrange these leaves. I wanted them all to be at a slightly different angle, and I didn't want any leaves that were the same shape or same color to be next to each other, and so you'll see me fiddle around with the leaves a bit here before I got it right. I also liked this tiny journaling card that says Little Acorn Bookstore on the top, so I added some journaling on the card with some clear sticker paper, and I'm just layering this on top of this pink floral Instax frame from the same ephemera pack. And you'll see that I just put those on the bottom of my right page there. I've also chosen a couple of word phrases from the ephemera pack as well to decorate the left page. So the red one in the middle says living fully in this season. The navy blue one at the bottom says love taking photos of you, because I always end up taking so many pictures of my boyfriend. And I'll also be adding a pink one in the bottom right corner of that page that says Nature's Palette, and then another pink one that says Love on the bottom of my right page as well. And I also have a script one that says Wonder on the very top of that page. I just like how it fills up that top portion of my page so nicely. Once I was mostly satisfied with all the layering on that page, I just started adhering everything down with my Tombow Mono permanent adhesive tape runner. I just find it has enough tack to hold down all of these elements on top of one another, but if you don't press them down right away, you can still peel them off a bit to try to reposition them if you need to shift things around a bit. Just finishing my spread by adhering my photos onto both sides of this manila tag. So that large photo with the ice cream store is going to go on the front of the tag, and then that strip of 3 photos is going to go on the back of that tag. I did add that orange ephemera piece with the dates on it at the bottom of my ice cream photo, and I just covered up the part where it says home and away because I didn't really have anything to put in that blank space beside that, and because otherwise my photo would be a bit too tall for this page. And then I just circled the date that we went on this walk in the park. I was debating on which ephemera bits I should use to decorate this photo strip with. I really wanted to use that script one that says taking it all in, but I was worried that it would get caught on the bottom of the pocket if I had it right at the bottom of that photo strip, and it looked a bit awkward everywhere else, like at the top or in the middle. So I ended up going with both of the green word phrases. One says changing times, and the other is a quote from Oscar Wilde. It says, "And all at once, summer collapsed into fall." And I think this quote is especially true in Alberta, where our summers are so short, and before you know it, all the leaves have changed color and it's cold again. So that finishes up my spread. I hope you enjoyed that process video, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more process videos. I'll be sharing another process video in my Life Crafted album this Saturday, so stay tuned. And make sure to check out the Citrus Twist Kits shop where you can find all these products and more. Thanks so much for watching!